Hi everyone, I'm so glad to see you. I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts, and I'm here at Fat Quarter Shop doing your block of the month from our So in Love book. So excited about it. Hugs and kisses. You'll be so in love with this block. It's one of my personal favorites because it allows me to do a really simple, fun quilts for gifts and other things, and it looks beautifully in our medallion quilts. We're gonna need only 2 fabrics. So after last month, you probably are so excited just to do something simple and fun. And we have a stripe fabric. This is one of my favorite fabrics. It gives me a really fun look to it. It has a beautiful print of just a little bit beige with it, the warm tone that I was talking to you about it, and this beautiful background fabric with the little polka dots. And notice some of the polka dots have little darker red here and there. It ties it really nice together. So those are the 2 fabrics we're going to use. We're going to cut square A, so that is the squares, just simple cutting. We're gonna cut strips, and those strips are B in light, and we're gonna cut quite a few of those for our blocks. Then we're gonna cut a strip C. And remember, I like to use fat quarters to cut my strips, and I cut them with this ruler. It's a 12.5 by 4.5 inches ruler. Super fun and easy. Always trim your fabric, press it before you cut, and when you're preparing your fabric, I like to use a best press, a nice steam, make your fabric nice and flat, then cut it. It's easier to piece it from it, especially we're gonna do strip piecing for this block. It's a fun, quick technique, and we're gonna do some chain sewing. So let's start by doing a strip piecing. What that means, we're gonna take strips and we're gonna sew them together, 2 sets of 3. We're gonna do light, dark, and a light. Push the seam allowance towards the dark right here in the center, and we're gonna sew 3 of those strips together like this, 2 lights, 1 dark. Then we're gonna do a second unit where we're gonna do a dark and a dark on the outside and a light in the middle, and this time the seam allowances are pushed towards the outside. So the first one towards the middle, towards the outside. Why am I emphasizing the seam allowances? Because later on they're gonna lock for us really nice, because as soon as you finish sewing your strip sets, you're going to take your ruler and you're gonna position on your strip set, and I always start by trimming the edge. So what I like to do is take my ruler, position right over, and trim the edge. And notice it, I'm not matching. These lines are helping me to line myself up. I'm matching it with a middle seams. Why? Because if something went off and I stretched the fabric or I was pulling on it, maybe things didn't work out right. So I'm gonna match it with the middle seam, and I'm gonna gently trim it. I just finished trimming, so I'm gonna turn everything around. I'm right-handed. I always encourage you to please keep your hand on the left on the ruler, right hand you have your rotary. Don't ever cross your hands when you're cutting. That's not a good idea. I'm gonna measure 1.5, and I'm gonna make a beautiful cut. And again, notice that this time I'm matching with the freshly pre-cut edge that I just trimmed it, and I also make sure that the middle line is lining up right there, and I'm going to cut. And I will repeat it and keep cutting. I need 2 of the dark, I call them, because the dark is on the outside, and 1 of the light ones for 1 block. So I have pre-cut already some right here. Now I'm gonna lay out my unit of a 9-patch, one of the most popular blocks in quilting, a 9-patch. Why we call it 9-patch? Because it's made from 9 patches, 3 by 3. So look at this, I have the 2 with the darker outside on the outside and the lighter one in the middle. Now I'm gonna place those right sides together, just like this, right sides together. All my seams are beautifully locking right here. If you would like to, you can place a pin, but many times you can just go ahead and start sewing because they stay so nice together, locked right there. And I would zoom from the top straight down, pull the pins away, finish by sewing the other side. So first one side and then this side, and then press it. And I want to show you something fun and exciting. I just finished this sewing this side, and of course when we open it up, we can just open it up and push the seam allowance towards one direction. But many times, if I have the chance, I like to open the low seams right here, open them up. It gives me a really nice corners right there on those transition points right there. It gives me a really good points right there, and it makes a nice flat block. So when I machine quilt and I'm going through those stitches and I have to transition from one seam to another, it makes a beautiful 9-patch block. So that's something maybe you want to add to it. But pushing it one way works just as well. Perfect. We just finished all of our units. We need 5 of 9 patches for a double 9 patch. What that means is our big blocks, hugs and kisses, it's a double 9 patch, because not only our low unit, but our layout of our block is made from 9 grid patch. Look at those. I have them all lined up. Now I'm gonna do something and tell me what you think about it. Notice it, the direction of fabric, I'm paying attention, that goes in the same way. So when I did this, it doesn't look nice. So I'm going to turn this the right way and keep all my fabrics going the same direction. So the tip for this block is pay attention to the direction of your fabric, make them lined up the right way. I'm gonna place my squares right over, sew it, and I will sew this to this, this to this, first row, second row, third row, sew everything together. Seam allowance will go towards the light this time, because remember our rule, 2 seams against none, it will go towards that way. Lock those seams, sew it together, and just finish another block for our beautiful medallion quilt. And we need to make 4 of those blocks to include it right there in the center of a medallion. And notice the coloring, just like we emphasized the red going through here, I kept this a little bit lighter to give a center of attention to our last block that I am looking forward to see you and show to you how to make it next month. Thank you so much for stopping, and look forward to it.